And then we move out of Lent and we move into the celebration of Easter season. And that makes Palm Sunday sort of an interesting day on the calendar. Simultaneously exuberant and celebratory, but also the very first event of the passion and suffering of our Lord. So we have to kind of put it in its context. Jerusalem then and Jerusalem now is the very center of the world. Jerusalem is located 30 miles from the Mediterranean coast. And a little bonus information for you. You know, the word Mediterranean means middle of the world, Mediterrano. And at the center of the world, you see, there's a lot of conflict. Not surprisingly, Jerusalem is home to the world's three great religions. I mean, just let that sink in alone for a moment. Judaism, Christianity, and Islam all have a focus on Jerusalem and actually on the Temple Mount, all at the same time. Interestingly, the name Jerusalem means the holy city of peace. Yeru is a form of the word hieros, which is a word that means holy. And Salem or Salam is from the root word shalom, which means peace, or better, it means the peace of God. And these two, in that area where Hebrew and Arabic are spoken every day, the two main greetings in that city are Shalom Aleichem, which is the Hebrew daily greeting, and the Arabic greeting is Assalam wa alaikum, which is exactly the same statement. It means the peace of God, or better, it really means we bring to you the peace of God. Kind of interesting. They don't even like each other, but we bring to you the peace of God in both languages. So this holy city of the peace of God is situated in the very center of the world, but the reality is that Jerusalem has never really known much peace, but rather it's known tension and strife and continuous political and racial turmoil. According to the Archaeological Institute of America, over the past 4,000 years, Jerusalem has been the site of no fewer than 118 armed conflicts. The city has been completely destroyed at least twice. It's been besieged 23 times. It's been attacked 52 times. It's been captured and recaptured 44 times. And it's been the site of at least 20 revolts and innumerable riots. Everyone has wanted to possess this piece of the earth. Egyptians, Canaanites, Jebusites, Assyrians, Babylonians, Greeks, Persians, Romans, Muslims, Crusaders, everyone. The list is endless of who wants it. And archaeological and historical evidence reveals to us that over the course of 4,000 years, Jerusalem has changed hands peacefully twice. All of this makes this little place in the center of the world the most fought-over piece of ground the world has ever known. And recent news out of Israel reveals that the fighting isn't over with yet. 2,000 years ago, when Jesus came into Jerusalem on this particular day that we're highlighting today, he chose this day. He purposefully chose this day. And he wanted to make an entrance into the city, and it got everyone's attention, and it looked like an uprising might be just about to happen again. See, when Jesus walked the streets of Jerusalem, Rome had occupied Israel for at least 100 years, and Rome always ruled with an iron fist. Rome controlled everything and everyone, and it controlled it by force. So it was Rome who appointed Israel's governors. It was Rome who appointed the religious leaders of Israel. It was Rome who appointed the high priest of Israel. It was Rome who provided their puppet kings, especially the Herods, and Rome who collected their taxes and levied them heavily, because Rome wanted there never to be any doubt about just who was in control of whom. And so they allowed for no uprisings and no challenges to her authority. Then the conspicuous placement of the gallows of crucifixion were along every major roadway of Rome, not just in Jerusalem. and at every major crossroads. And they were to be a testament as to what happens to those who step out of line with Rome. Don't even think about it. Don't dare think about stepping out of line. So Rome's governors hated being in Jerusalem. They were Romans. Jerusalem was a hotbed, and they preferred instead to be out on the coast of the Mediterranean. Who wouldn't, right? And they had this beautiful palace that Herod the Great built for himself, but he was long gone by the time of Jesus' life here. And that palace had become the home of the governors of Rome. It was a place called Caesarea Maritima. It's about 75 miles northwest of Jerusalem. And they loved being out there. It was peaceful and calm, and they didn't have to be around all the chaos of Jerusalem. But on the high holy days of Judaism, they had to make an appearance. They had to make sure everybody understood who was in control. There couldn't be any uprisings. So Passover was a particularly important time for Rome to put their power on display. Passover was National Pride Week, and still is, for Jews. It commemorated Israel's freedom from an oppressive world